morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to look at Reshiram Zekrom. Now, I've been wrong about a lot of things on this channel. I make a lot of videos. And one of the things I was wrongest about is that I told you, with good reason incidentally, but I told you that Reshiram Zekrom, when it came out in Cosmic Eclipse, was going to be one of the dominant, if not the most dominant deck. Clearly that was wrong. It's not been a great deck. But I'm here to tell you today that actually it stands a real chance of becoming really, really good. And the wonderful news for you lovely ladies and gentlemen, this is not one of those decks where you can go, oh, come on, Wassy, half the deck's rotating. No, it's really not. There is a single solitary card that's rotating. I think we'll be okay. So, what we've got here is a deck that is built around Reshiram Zekrom. And Reshiram Zekrom still has a huge amount of potential. 270 HP. And for 2 energy, you discard up to 3 in any combination of basic fire and lightning from your bench Pokemon and do 90 damage for each card you discarded in this way. So in theory, you should be doing 270 damage. That's kind of awesome. And then you've got Crossbreak GX. 4 energy. This attack does 170 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. If you played End Resolve from your hand during this turn, you do 170 to another benched Pokemon. So 170 to 2 benched Pokemon is kind of nuts. And 270, just generally for your first attack, is also kind of nuts. It's a huge amount of damage. It is as much damage as Eternatus does, except discarding 3 energy is generally easier than having 8 bench Pokemon out. And it's more damage than we see from most VMAXs and most tag teams. The issue has always been that it's been kind of awkward to use. Well, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some good options. Now, in terms of backup attackers, we really have one good, proper job backup attacker, and it's actually Marshadow and Machamp, which immediately piques my interest, because this is a card that I've been wanting to be good the entire time, and it's just not been. But maybe now it will be. What we've got from Marshadow and Machamp is 2 energy, 30 damage if any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack during their last turn. You do 120. Now 120 for 2 energy is good, but it is worth bearing in mind, even with weakness, you're quite far away from getting an Eternatus VMAX, who can in turn one-hit KO you with a full bench. So it's not quite like it was when everyone was just playing Pikachu and Zekrom, though you will still destroy Pikachu and Zekrom, but it's still a decent little attack. We've then got 3 energy 160, which sounds like a lot, but even with weakness, you're actually 20 damage away from KOing an Eternatus, and that is what we need to look at, because that is one of the best decks in the format right now, so yeah, that could be a little bit of a pain, unfortunately. And then we've got a really nice GX attack, whereby 200 damage for 3 energy, but if you've got 4 energy on, and this Pokemon would be KO'd by damage from an opponent's attack next turn, it goes down to 10 HP remaining. And I love... Now, it's hard to get the energy on, or at least it has been. It's just gotten a lot easier. But what is really cool about this, if your opponent's got 3 prize cards remaining, and you don't have any tag team Pokemon on your bench, this guarantees that they won't win the game next turn. Unless, of course, you're also poisoned or burned and you get KO'd in that regard. But the vast majority of the time, you're just not getting KO'd by this, which is awesome. It can literally save the game and stop you being KO'd. It's kind of wonderful. Now, there is one other Pokemon that we kind of use for attacking here. It is Talonflame. Get used to seeing Talonflame V in a lot of decks. Talonflame V is ridiculous. And it's a Pokemon I liked a lot. And I did put it very high up on my list of top cards from Astonishing Volt Tackle. But the more time goes by, the more I'm starting to think I have been underrating it. It's got 3 retreat, which is huge. For a single energy, you discard your hand and draw 6 cards. But you can use it turn 1 going first to give you redonkulous consistency. And then for free energy, you do 160 and discard one. But essentially, this is your turn 1 attack if you go second. If you go first, you've got that attack that gives you extra consistency. If you go second, Welder, attach your third energy, 160 damage. If your opponent passes the turn with just one Pokemon out, as often happens now when you go second because your opponent cannot attack and cannot play any supporter cards, and that Pokemon has 160 HP or less, Talonflame will let you win the game. Talonflame is ridiculous, and it's just a phenomenal card. Now, there are a few backup cards here as well. We got one copy of Oranguru from Sword and Shield. That is the one that lets you swap a card in your hand with the top card of your deck. It's just a little bit of extra consistency. We've got Eldegoss V, that when you play it from your hand to your bench, lets you put a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand, which again, really, really useful. And as we're going to see, there's a bunch of very important supporter cards we're going to be trying to use here. And then there is one copy of Giratina. And I'll be honest with you, I'm usually pretty good at deck lists, but the blurry picture that threw me for a minute here. Shout out to Stephen of Playscape Games and lovely Joe from Cerebi.net for hooking us up here and reminding us that that's what the card was. Those dudes are awesome. And really good people to be able to jump and ask questions in a pinch. And essentially it's here for the ability that lets you pull it out of the discard pile and drop 1 damage counter onto each of 2 bench Pokemon. And this could be genuinely relevant. Arceus and Alga and Palkia has 280 HP. So this will then bring them in range of Reshiram and Zekrom. And Crobat has 180 HP. So what you essentially do here is you use this to put each Crobat down to 170. And then you can KO both of them using Reshiram and Zekrom's GX attack. But I really don't think it's the biggest loss ever. Clearly, you can just sub it out for a Galarian Zigzagoon, and yes, I know that's 1 damage onto 1 Pokemon rather than 2, but it's still not the end of the world. And as we're going to see, we got other tricks which help out as well. Now, in terms of the trainer line here, it's kind of a truncated trainer line. It is one which is quite... there's lots of 4-ofs, put it that way. Now, in terms of supporter cards, what we're doing here is we are just going for the energy. We just want energy. We got 2 copies of Welder to let you attach 2 energy and then draw 3 cards. We've got 4 copies of End's Resolve. Now, End's Resolve is the one that you need to activate the good bit of the GX attack for Reshiram and Zekrom. And what you do is discard the top 6 cards of your deck. And if any of them are basic energy, you attach them to one of your benched dragon Pokemon. Yeah, that can get a lot of energy out. Now, it is worth pointing out we are playing here 14 fire energy, and we are playing 9 lightning energy. That's 23 energy in total, which is clearly a ridiculous amount of energy. But then again, cards like End Resolve mean we kinda have to. And then, of course, we should be hitting a lot of energy here. And then we've got B. Now, B basically says that you discard the top 5 cards of your deck, and any energy discarded in this way you may attach to your fighting Pokemon in any way that you like. Well, isn't that lovely? Because you get more energy on. It is only benched fighting Pokemon, I should add. So, remember, you want to get a lot of energy onto your bench, right? The goal with this deck is to just pile energy onto your bench Pokemon so that you're hitting 270 every turn with Reshiram and Zekrom. And this will work very nicely indeed. End Resolve and B will get a lot of energy out. Plus, you got your Welder. Elsewhere, we've got 4 copies of Pokegear 3.0. That lets you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, find a supporter card, put it in your hand. Clearly, that's to try and make sure you've got the right supporter at the right time. Then we've got 1 copy of Energy Switch to move your energy around as you like. And 3 copies of Tag Switch. Tag Switch will move 2 energy from a tag team Pokemon to another Pokemon. But remember that B will only put the energy onto Marshadow and Machamp. And the End Resolve will only put the energy onto Reshiram and Zekrom. So you may well need to tag switch between them to actually get a proper attack off. So, yeah, that's why we're playing 3 of them. We've then got 3 copies of Quick Ball to go and search out your basic Pokemon. All your Pokemon are basic. And 3 copies of Tag Call that lets you search for 2 in combination of Tag Team Pokemon and Tag Team Supporters. Though it must be borne in mind we're not playing any Tag Team Supporters, so this just lets you grab 2 Reshiram and Zekrom. Do remember that 2 of the supporters we play here just discard many cards from the top of your deck, and we're not playing any Pokemon Recovery. So getting 2 Reshiram and Zekrom out your deck before you start doing that, probably a good idea. We got 3 copies of Switch to make sure you got the right Pokemon in the active at the right time. And then we've got 1 copy of Longview Scope. This is another one of those new cards that came out in Astonishing Volt Tackle. And it is a Pokemon Tool card that you attach it to one of your Pokemon. And then any attacks that would hit the bench do 30 more to bench GX and Vs. I.e. Reshiram and Zekrom's attack, the GX attack, will now do 200 to 2 different bench Pokemon, as long as they're GXs and Vs, and that makes a pretty gigantic difference. It's also one of the reasons we're not that worried about losing Giratina, because this will make sure you get the double KO on something like a Crobat. Although having said that, you're only playing 1 and you've got supporter cards that aggressively discard from the top of your deck, so there is a chance you'll never actually see it. I like this deck. This is the kind of hyper aggro deck that I can get behind. It seems like the kind of deck that is going to win fast or lose fast, but either way, it's going to be pretty fast. In terms of, Japan are playing a different format, there is a single solitary Pokemon there, and I know that popping Galarian Zigzagoon in its place isn't quite as good, but I don't think it's going to kill the deck even a little bit. I think we'll be fine. This is definitely very high on my list of decks to go ahead and test when Astonishing Volt Tackle comes out. I mean, obviously anything involving Phanpy and Donphan, but then after that, this is right up there. And the good news is that things like Reshiram and Zekrom, they're so cheap right now because it's proven to not be particularly good. I might just go and pick up a playset of these because they're ridiculously cheap right now. That could be fun. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this deck and whether you think it's got a chance. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.